Look who I got with me. This here is Retro-Spect. Let me center him here. Let me get him in frame and all that. So, hey, Johnny Young's on the stream with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Crypto has joined us as well. Friend of the stream, friend of Retro there. You guys have been gaming together some, haven't you?
Yeah, we played some games yesterday, and we played off stream sometimes before. But,
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, super fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a good guy. Good guy. Blowing up on Twitch, that's for sure. And he's doing the old YouTube content. See, that's one of the reasons why you're here. See, there's folks I like to bring on that either have something to do with Apex or have something to do with voiceover or video games in general. And I'm branching out. I'll be bringing in more people that just have to do with the entertainment industry because they make the things that we consume, the things that we enjoy. And like in your case, you're a gamer, you're a streamer, but I think you're known mostly for your content, for YouTube content.
Yeah, I just started kind of doing Twitch recently because I noticed that it takes me like a week or two to do my edits, and so it'd be a lot more fun to while I'm recording, interact with the community and stuff like that rather than just spending 2 weeks in solitude in my like little bunker and then recording and then all this stuff. So
yeah,
it's been fun. Yeah,
we're all sort of. I'm gonna resize you a little bit more so we can see more of you here. But yeah, we're all sort of bunkered down. I mean, that's the nature of a lockdown. And we were joking about this yesterday. The people who are the least affected by this are streamers, gamers, content creators who use their content or who use basically their computers and their screens for content. There are a lot of content creators that aren't sure what to do because they have to be out to create it, and so they have to adjust.
Yeah, I got really lucky because I mean I've been doing this for 6 months full time. I think I started going full time YouTube in January.
Okay.
And before then, I was in school most of the time, and that's kind of when COVID-19 started really, shutting things down and
right
and lockdowns and stuff. So it was good for me. I got really lucky that I'm able to still work and pay my bills and everything. I wish it wasn't under the circumstances, but yeah, it's been really fun to actually do editing and YouTube full time and like playing video games full time for a living. It's really weird, but yeah. I've been having such a fun time. It's been really cool.
Yeah, that's what sort of the pandemic. There's a silver lining to this. There's not much of one because obviously the downside is enormous. But the silver lining has been for a lot of people to re-examine what they were doing for a living and to ask themselves how much they really want to go back to it when things lift. Some people can't wait to get back to work. Some people are never going to go back to work because they found something else that they can do. Yeah. Now, for you, what was your life like pre-pandemic? What was your daily situation like? Well, first of all, tell the stream basically who you are and what you're known for, like what you do, and for the people who aren't your fans that are here, can maybe get to know you a little bit before we get into the specifics.
Yeah, well, my name's Retro-Spect. I play Apex. Basically, I make dumb videos and I put them on the internet. Is basically what I do.
Hey, wait, that's what I do.
Hey, look at that. Yeah. We do the same stuff.
Yeah, you do it for more people.
Yeah, it's something you do in the Apex family. You make dumb videos, but
yeah,
that's I do like I don't know if you guys have seen like .exe stuff. There's a bunch of people out there who do it, like Dice Boy, Exodus, Cinelicious, and I was one of the first people to kind of like do it on Apex.
Okay.
And so that's where I kind of got started. But yeah, that's what I do. I play Apex, I stream it, and then I make fun, weird, kind of dumb meme montages. That's what a lot of people call them. But it's a good time. I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Now, I have been learning YouTube over the past year or two. First, with YouTube, I put up all of it was basically a dumping ground, a repository for all of the voiceover stuff I had done in my life and my career. And then after each of those got about 80 views, I thought, well, there must be something else I can do for fun. And Apex happened. And I didn't pay much attention to it at first. It was another game I was in. And then my brother told me around May of last year, he said, this game really is a lot of fun. You should play it. And I started making videos based on how awful I was and the fact that I'm Pathfinder. Okay, Pathfinder plays the game, and he sucks at it. So I've stretched that out as far as it'll go. And now it's basically about my stream. And what YouTube folks soon find out is the analytics on YouTube are amazing. But you also find out how much content you can make and how much you can edit before you have to start farming that stuff out, and you soon find your rhythm. And for you, your the two things I noticed about creators is how long is each video and how often do they post. So how did you arrive at those two variables for you?
Yeah, it's different for everyone because like in the Apex community, like Staycation, Kangaroo, they do like Twitch highlights kind of, they update comes on an Apex, they stream it, they play it, and then their editor downloads it, edits, and they post it probably the same day or the next day. And that's kind of like that's their routine. They can do a turnaround within 24 hours, which is really good for them. I'm different in the content that I make because it's more of like I do weird dumb stuff, so it's I'll make a video that's just called Mozambique.exe. So I'll just spend 2 weeks trying to get insane jumping off of zip lines, hitting people with Mozambiques and stuff like that. So it takes a long time to get it, but when you finally get everything you need, then I get to edit it all together, and that usually takes 30 hours if I'm creating my own masks and rendering and animation and all this stuff. It's a lot of work. But it's super fun. It's really rewarding once you finish it and you get to see everything all together. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Now, how did you decide on the length of your videos? And, is there a set time limit where you say, I don't go over that or I don't go under this?
It really depends. Recently, I'm kind of trying to branch out because usually my videos are roughly like 3 to 5 minutes. But I do so much work and so much editing that I really am trying to. There's a YouTube algorithm. It's a meme in the community basically that people make their videos like 10 minutes and 1 second because once it's over 10 minutes, you can get more ad revenue and your videos get shared more and stuff like that. So I'm trying to make my videos longer. So my most recent videos have been like really heavy edited montage type of stuff, and then that's like 3 to 4 minutes, and then the rest is like funny moment blooper type stuff with my friends. So I'm kind of trying to branch off from like my usual 3 to 5 minutes. I'm trying to do an average of 10 now. It's slowly evolving, but it's been fun. It's been fun.
That's the same conclusion I arrived at, and this was not just something I figured out on my own, because when it comes to tech and these new concepts, it takes me a while to get caught up because it's not the tech I grew up with. I mean, I have to remind people I'm 50, and so a lot of this is new to me.
Wait, are you 50?
Yeah, I'm 50. Yeah. So.
Oh my God, I thought you were like 41.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A young strapping lad of 41. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm moisturizing more these days. I still have a zit. It's still resolving. Yeah, my zit is. Yeah. And so that's the one thing I remind you kids. Just because you hit your 40s and 50s doesn't mean you might, you avoid getting pimples, because it still happens. Good times. But yeah, like I Loot Games, a data miner who I'm careful not to praise too much because I'm in the Apex community and they don't love data miners, but they sort of tolerate that they're there because what can they do? But iLoot has been a big supporter of the stream, and he's also told me you should try this, you should try this. These are ways to monetize. These are ways to maximize the viewers you have, to get new ones. And he told me about the 10-minute threshold. He says if you do 10 minutes, then you can do mid-roll ads. You can place more ads in your stream. And, of course, it's a little annoying for folks, but usually they're skippable ads. I let the algorithm decide what kind of ads they're going to put in, but because I don't know enough to decide. And I think they mostly are skippable ads. And when I see ads, I realize, I don't like them either, but I realize they're a necessity for creators because they have to monetize so they can devote their time to making this content.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. There are some people that, I always try to remind my community if I have like a sponsor or something. I'm always just straight up like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Because I have to pay my bills, and a lot of times YouTube demonetizes my videos because I'm not family friendly, and like quote unquote, if there's like a single curse word or something with like guns like Apex, your videos usually will make nothing. Most of my videos that are like 300,000, 400,000 views, I make like $80, $50.
Yeah. No,
So,
I'm in the same boat.
yeah, so sponsors are necessary, but I always try to run the community like, I always like thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much genuinely for the sponsors who help keep my channel alive, because without them, I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is what I want the viewers to come away with today, is an appreciation for content creators and what they are having to deal with, the daily obstacles and challenges, because that monetization is vital, because there are different revenue streams. Like if you have a Twitch stream, you have subs, which they're everything. You have ad revenue for your Twitch stream, but it's going to be minuscule unless you have an insane amount of viewers. You have, you have affiliate links, which are really interesting to me because they don't pay very much, at least not right now for me. But they're links that you embed in your content, like in the description for YouTube. You put those in there, and if somebody clicks on one, it takes you to the site. If you buy something, you get a commission. So, and on top of that, I will take this interview, and I will save the audio only of it and turn that into the podcast, and the podcast will get listeners. So there are many revenue streams that you can use, but at the same time, like you say, depending on your content on YouTube, if it's Apex, which is a violent game, let's face it, and is never going to be considered family friendly, they really lower your CPM. And the CPM, would you like to describe CPM to the viewers?
CPM is just like, it's your average amount of money you make per view. So like,
right. Clicks per meal is kind of what they call it, but it's it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's for instance, so like my interview with you and Johnny Young, those are over 10 minutes.
Right.
It's just basically audio that I animated, like I animated Pathfinder and all that stuff, and there's no guns. It's just wholesome, fun stuff, and and my CPM was really good. It was like, per 1,000 views, it was like $10. I was like, oh my god, that's great.
I've never gotten that.
Yeah, it was like
that's
$7.50.
great.
I was like, dude,
that's great.
This is great. But then my next video right after that, which had like 400,000 views, my CPM was like 30 cents. Because it's just my regular stuff. So there seriously is a very fine line you have to walk between YouTube, and that's what makes it really scary sometimes. Because basically this is just kind of like a freelance type of thing, At any moment, YouTube could be like, "Oh, here's some new community guidelines. You literally cannot make this content you're doing anymore." So
yeah, there is a fair amount of caprice. This is an arbitrary variable that we deal with as content creators. That I am, in the abstract, I'm familiar with it because I'm a voice actor. And before that, I was a stand-up comedian. And so I never had a guaranteed gig. It was whatever I could go out and hustle for and get.
Sure.
So I'm used to playing without a net. I've been playing without a net since '95. That was the last day job I had, which I was fired from. Which was in Orlando, where you live. And so I think that a lot of content creators already respect the fact that it's unpredictable because they're content creators. You think like an entrepreneur, but it would be nice if they were consistent.
Yeah, I really wish that I had started doing this like 4 years ago, or was able to blow up at 4 years ago, because 4 years ago, have you heard about the adpocalypse, is what people call it?
Well, I know that I vaguely am aware that they just demonetized a lot of things, and they changed their algorithm so that you were able to make a living, then suddenly you weren't. And at one point, I was close, when I had virtually no subs on YouTube, I was close to being able to monetize, and then they changed it. You need these numbers now.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was kind of something like that. So in general, basically what it was is that I don't know all the specifics, but in general, YouTube went from almost any video being able to be monetized, and you can make almost anything you want here, you know, within reasonable terms, to a completely new guideline, which the family friendly guideline basically. And if you don't fall into that category, your CPM will be low, the
Yeah.
video will be instantly demonetized, things like that. And before that, people were seriously making an incredible living. You know, my amount of views would be able to help me buy a car, a house, and have a very
Wow.
good job.
Okay.
But now, the same amount of views and everything is completely unlivable.
Yeah.
Which is, it sucks for YouTube. I think it's definitely, I think made the community and like creators like me really wary, and kind of had to put us like in a different category. I've talked to different creators who do similar stuff as me, and some of them have completely had to change what they do,
Right.
and and almost like their personality, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to do that. I want to make things that I like and people like, and that's why, kind of going back to sponsors, is why I don't want all my videos to be sponsored, you know. I don't want people to always feel like, oh, this is the guy that has sponsored videos, everything, you know.
Right.
But you know, if I can pay my rent that month and still make the content I want to make, then that's hopefully what I will still be able to do.
Right. As a creator, we're always towing this line, and I've done it as an actor for years, where I read for a lot of stuff. I audition for things pretty much 5 days a week. I'm, you know,
Oh, wow.
on average. Yeah. No, I'm lucky. And a lot of these things are commercials. And of course, nobody likes seeing commercials, but we're just used to them. Because if you think for a second about what a commercial is, basically a commercial is someone trying to sell you a product. But what they're also doing is they're paying for the show that you're watching. Because the network that puts that show on, or the streaming platform that may not show commercials, but they'll find other ways to fit things in there that you will hear about. This is how they provide for the revenue. And if you're watching a streaming platform and you're not paying for it, ads are going to exist. If you're paying for it, fine. You're paying so they can support the content. And so whenever I'm watching something and a commercial comes on, I think, oh man. And then I realize, hey, you auditioned for that commercial, okay? You wanted to be the guy talking to you right now, annoying you. So keep that in mind. It's a very delicate balance between commerce and art, and they kind of need each other. If we only had commerce, people would say, will someone please entertain me? And when somebody finally entertains you, they'll say, can you donate because no one's paying me? So we need them. It's a balance.
It is a balance. I always try and make my sponsored videos when I have to, you know, when it gets to the point where I have to, you know, say incredible things to the sponsor. I always try and make it somewhat entertaining, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to just read a script. So I hope that if anybody is watching this who sees my videos, I hope you enjoy when I do my little sponsors. I hope it doesn't bore you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like right now there are people, I guess they're talking about like the store. Dupe Snog, let's see, the store is closed or not. It says closed for maintenance. I don't know which store that is. I have a merch store that right now is closed because we're working out the address. I have a manager who gets the merchandise and then he has to send it to me, and he tried to send it to me and it got returned to him. So we're trying to figure out why that happened. So there are people waiting on signed merch. Yeah, and once we get that figured out, why for some reason it did not make it to me, then we'll get you signed merch. Plus, a couple of the ladies on the chat, I think, were talking about how cute you were, Retro-Spect. So there you go. So there you go.
I'm blushing.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't tell because he has a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you can grow a beard. Good for you. I tried, and it just looks it's a disaster. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that in addition to making the content, you have to wonder, is this the kind of content that my regular viewers are going to want? Or is this going to distance them? Am I trying to create a pathway to newer viewers or viewers of a broader demographic? Do you ever consider that, or do you just think, I want to put up the stuff I like and whoever likes it likes it?
Yeah, it's like 90% that.
Okay.
It's I try and stick with what I do because I know that works, and that's what people are on my channel for.
Right.
Apex and the way I edit. I hopefully don't ever want to have to change for any type of guideline specific stuff. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to kind of branch off a little bit, so I have maybe a different variety of what I can do. More like not commentary, but funny moment, like hanging out with friends. Like when I'm making a video on when I played with Johnny Young yesterday, voice actor for Crypto. And I'm gonna post the regular video I do Friday, and then Saturday it's gonna kind of be my first different video that I've done in a while. It's just gonna be kind of straight
Right.
hanging out with friends type of thing. So
Right.
if it does well, I might do more. So we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah. See, this is what I've realized too, is that I look at the analytics, and I think 90 to 95% of my audience is male between the ages of 18 and 44. And something like that. And I realized that I wasn't trying to get that demographic. This is just the stuff that I like to do that I think is either funny or fun, and my audience will find me or they won't. And I have to live with sometimes getting numbers that I hope were higher, but I thought I could chase that, but I will eventually not like it, and I'll eventually get bored.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid right now, because the type of stuff that I make, it is so incredibly time consuming when I'm editing, and my timelines and stuff. I post pictures on my Twitter and stuff. My timelines, I have my average work layer on my edit is probably like 14 to 18 layers of video, and then below it's about like 8 to 12 audio layers. And
Really?
so just for like a 3 or 5 minute video, but I went to film school, and so I learned a lot of like how things are supposed to be done. So
Right.
I put like my whole being into it when I'm working on it. Like I watch my videos like way too many times. I go through and I'm fixing audio and video and syncing and all this stuff. And so by the time I'm done with the video, I'm so burnt out. I post it. I sleep for like 12 hours.
Okay.
So I'm afraid that I'm gonna get burnt out on the content that I make, which is another reason why I'm trying to branch out a little bit, and that way, if people like it, then I can do 1 week off of different type of stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, I totally understand that you can get kind of bogged down.
Yeah, and I've set a limit on myself. Now, granted, I'm older, and there's just only so much time and energy you have for this. And when I was in my 20s and I was touring as a comic, it was all a crunch. It was all a grind. I once drove 8 hours, and I lived in Orlando at the time, and that's where you live now, correct? Yeah. So I lived in Orlando, and that was my hub. That's where I went and found my gigs, and I would operate out of Orlando. So you could drive to a lot of your gigs around the Southeast. And I once drove 8 hours to get to a one-night gig that would pay me $75. And when I got there, the gig had been canceled. And this was back around 94 when not everyone had answering machines and there were no cell phones. And I had not checked my answering machine, and they canceled the gig as I was on my way there. And I called the office just before they closed, and I said, "There's a lock on the door." They said, "Yeah, the gig got canceled. You didn't hear?" No, and I drove 8 hours home. Nothing in my pocket.
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah, well, but the point being is that that's what you do to yourself when you're young. You crunch. You just grind it out. You don't sleep as much as you should, and then you sleep 30 hours in a row, and you can do that. I've reached a point now where I say, look, I've got a nice steady career, knock on wood. I've got a wife, I've got kids. And so I'm going to stream for 10 to 12 hours a week, and I'm going to spend no more than 5 or 6 hours a week, hopefully, editing that. And that's it. Right. That's it. Yeah. I want this to be an 18 to 20 hour a week at most venture. And so what I'm going to have to do is figure out how to get the most revenue out of that, which means ancillary streams. It's not just who's watching when I'm live. It's who's watching the content I put up, who's consuming it when I'm done. And once I found those other streams, I thought, all right, well, they're not paying a lot right now, but I'm laying a foundation, and hopefully over time it will pay off.
Yeah, yep. That's just There's definitely different ways you have to look at what you're doing, and I've had to take step backs before because I realized all the effort that I was doing wasn't translating well enough. I could do what I love as much as I want, but if it's not paying rent, then I have to do something else. So I definitely did have to make some changes with the way I get sponsors. I signed up for like a marketing agency that helps me get them.
Okay.
Because when I started doing this full time, it was I got paid by one, and that was like a month's rent. And so I was like, okay, from here on, I have to get at least one every month to pay rent.
Yeah.
So before that, I was working probably the same amount of time, but I was making barely anything. It was just kind of like a hobby. So yeah, I again, just like you, knock on wood, hopefully once a month I still continue to be able to do this.
Now, the marketing agency, do they work on a commission basis, or do you pay them a flat fee and they bring the sponsor to you?
Yeah, they work on a commission basis. So it's
okay.
How do you say, people come to them looking for creators, and then they'll see if they'll send them my resume, basically all the people that I worked with.
Gotcha.
And if the company likes it, they'll contact me, and then they'll take like a 3% or 5%.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, what? No, go ahead.
Oh no, it's very handy. I don't have to constantly send emails every single day. I'm able to have this good buffer in between that's helped out a lot.
Now, does the sponsorship have anything to do with what you're doing on Twitch, or is this basically just for YouTube?
It's just for YouTube. Twitch right now is I'm mentioning it in my videos. I'm trying to letting people know all this stuff you see in the video is live on Twitch. If you want to come hang out, I'm there.
Right.
Twitch is pretty new. I think I've been doing it relatively regular for the past, I want to say, month and a half, maybe 2 months. It's just I'm slowly getting there. I would love to be able to maybe get a decent following on Twitch and be able to maybe have that pay for rent every month, and then anything else to get from YouTube I can put back.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a thing that'll really help out, and it'll be a little less stressful. But,
yeah.
We'll see.
This is what I've been learning because I've been picking the brains of people like Candy Roo and Staycation and these guys who've been doing this for longer, and they understand a lot of the variables in play. And it's funny because Candy Roo told me that for him, Twitch is like the weather. He never knows what he's going to get from it, session to session, month to month. It's just it's there. He seems to put a lot of his effort into his content on YouTube. Right. Whereas I chatted with Brian Deckard and Amelia Rose on their Deckard games on Twitch.
Right.
And they put almost no effort into YouTube, and for them it's all about Twitch.
Yeah,
so it's all about their stream.
Different mediums. Yeah.
Yeah. And in my case, I'm thinking, okay, I wonder if seeking a sponsor would be beneficial because, like you say, that's something that seems to be in place that helps you take your mind off it and just think about the content. Yeah,
there's definitely there's a group of people on YouTube, basically like 250,000 to 300,000, I would say, plus subscribers, and those type of people who constantly get those views and who are family friendly, they're the ones. Those are the people who really don't need sponsors because they're making everything. They're making the revenue off of the views. And then there are people like me, of course, who depend on the sponsors. So yeah, and similar to Twitch, I know there's probably some people in here who maybe don't have a lot of subs but have a lot of views, and so maybe they're making their money off of the views, not the subs, and then vice versa. So there's so many variables on every single platform that once you find your niche, it's definitely good to grab a hold of it. But I think some people, probably like Candy Roo and Staycation, they both have huge followings on both, and I hope the best for them. They seem like they're doing really well.
Yeah, I think they are. I remember working with, a couple of years ago, I worked with a guy who was basically good at boosting your social media profile. And so he managed a lot of that stuff for me. And he said, and I've gotten to a point where now I'm just kind of running it myself, but he said, the thing you want to keep in mind is you need something that is consistent as far as a platform goes. And he said, all these platforms, as big as they are, can change. They can fall in and out of favor. So he said, your website, which sounds like an archaic term, but he says you need to have a website that is a hub where people can go to find you no matter what. So let's say you're big on YouTube, but maybe something comes along and supplants YouTube and becomes the new thing. Before you can get all the way transitioned over, people still need to be able to find you somewhere else. And so for any reason, or what if YouTube decides to demonetize you? Well, how are you going to get word out to your people? They can go to your website and know where to find you next. And so that hub, he says, is really important to have.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. I know of people who have it, but they have like 1 million subscribers. You know, they're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. They have everything, which I could understand. For me, I don't think I'm mainly known for YouTube, so I don't know that I would do one unless I really start getting out there.
Right.
But I completely understand having a central hub that you can go to, and it's got all your socials on there. I try and put my socials in my description and like at the end of the video so people know it's there.
Yeah.
But that's a really good idea.
And for the record, YouTube ain't going anywhere. They're going to be around for a long time. I have a feeling we're going to need to learn how to use YouTube before YouTube has to start worrying about losing us.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah, that is the way it goes. Now, as far as the content you decided on, what was it about Apex Legends that made you think this is the thing I want to be putting my time into, as opposed to all the other games out there?
Yeah, I was I started playing. I played Apex when it first came out, like the first week. It was super hyped. Everybody was playing it, and I started playing like everybody else. I was like, wow, this is pretty fun. But that was probably 7 months before I started doing it full time. So I was playing it like 2 months, and then I was like, I could probably make videos on this. Maybe, we'll see. And so I started making videos on it, and my first video did really good. It got like, I think like 200,000 views in like a week.
Nice.
Whoa, I didn't really do anything, but okay, I'll take it. And so I started messing around with stuff and trying to like make every video better than the last, and then it just kind of kept steamrolling. And I was really lucky because season 1 for Apex was like, a lot of people have a consensus that it was pretty mediocre because there was like, I think there was, don't quote me, but I think there was like 50 tiers or 70 tiers, but it's mainly like and no offense to the devs, but the skins and like everything, it was like underhyped basically. And I remember like reading about it and people talking about it on Reddit and all this stuff, and I was like, well, if people are even talking about all this stuff being like quote unquote underhyped, but it's still everywhere, then when something is really big on Apex, it's gonna be 10 or 20 times as big.
Right.
So when season 2 came along, and I remember the devs talking about how they were making like so many changes, better skins, better guns, and all this stuff. I decided to make a meme trailer on it. I took the trailer and I cut it, and I messed with all the assets basically, and I made my own version of it, and it blew up on Reddit. I got like 30,000 upvotes. It was being shared on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere, and that I went from like 20,000 or 50,000 followers on like a Thursday, and the following Tuesday I had like 60,000 followers.
Really?
From one video. It just exploded, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm definitely sticking with Apex.
Right.
So from then on, from season 2, I've been kind of obsessed with it. It's a super fun game, which is lucky for me because I make so many videos on it and I play it all the time.
Right.
But it's also incredibly creative because there's so shout out to the devs. There's so much good content with the guns, the like the actors, the voice actors, the characters, the map design. Everything about Apex is so incredible, and which is nice for me because I have so much stuff to work with like creation wise.
Yeah. Now, for you, as you've seen the game evolve, what is your opinion of the game as far as the direction it's going And are there things that you were hoping to see that haven't quite come out yet, or are there things you're glad that they've changed? What's been your overall impression?
I think the devs have done a really good job listening to the community, because I've seen games that have either took way too much input from the community or not taken any at all,
right?
And they've completely dipped. I think the Apex devs have done an incredible job by the Reddit community on Apex is extremely active, and if there's a bug, if there's something that's not right, or something that the community just in general thinks is a terrible idea, it's going to be there, and
right.
The devs are going to respond, and they're going to take into consideration, and either they won't do it, or they'll fix it, and they'll give us a reason why or why not they did. And I think that's incredible, because 6 or 7 years ago that wasn't possible in game forums. The game came out and that's it, maybe small little updates here and there. But with Apex, it is so refreshing to see the people who make it listen to their community, value their opinion, and then help make the game better.
Right. Now, as far as characters, is there one that you have always taken that is your favorite, or does it change season to season?
No, hold on.
I'm gonna guess it's Crypto. That's my guess.
No,
it's not Crypto.
It's Pathfinder.
Oh my God!
Pathfinder is my favorite.
It's amazing. Well, hey, look what I got. Well, first of all, I got this little Weta Pathfinder, and then, of course, I got one right back at you right there.
Look at that. Yeah, when those first came out, Funko Pops first came out, I went to GameStop and I bought like all of them. But the first one I bought, I got Pathfinder. Then I went by the next day and I bought the rest. But yeah, he's been my favorite up until the unfortunate demise of my boy Pathy with a 35-second cooldown. He was top tier.
Yeah, the cooldown has cooled him down a bit. It's never more appropriate words have been chosen. But I know that he was a favorite. May not be now, but I did read an article that he's still one of the more popular characters being chosen. And I'm not trying to attribute that to anything I have to do with it. The playability of the character is still there, but you've got to be a lot more judicious with that grapple.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it at first. I jumped on the hate train. I was like, why? Why would you do this to my boy? He was perfect and beautiful.
I'm still on the hate train. I'm driving the hate train. So, yeah.
But then I realized he was like, the devs know what they're doing. If he was the top picked legend for 4 seasons, it's refreshing to not see a Pathfinder everywhere on the map flinging around.
Yeah.
It's good to see Revenants and Lobas and Bangalores running around. So it's a refreshing meta change. So it's unfortunate because, he's dead, but it's good. It's good to see a change.
Yeah, he will live again. Don't worry, folks. He's not going anywhere. Somebody on the chat here, Squeaky Pillows, is asking, Chris, how much do you recommend your gaming chair over the $300 plus competitors? I can't remember exactly what I paid for my chair. It was less than $300. But since we've been talking so much about commerce, I guess I may as well address this question. Here's a chance for me to do a commercial. Well, Squeaky Pillows, let me tell you a little bit about this chair. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you this is a very comfortable chair. That's all I can say is that I like that it has a pillow for support here for when you're leaning back. I like it's got a pillow for the lower back for lumbar support, right? And I can sit forward, and it feels pretty comfy. I had a regular desk office chair in here that was really cushy, that I really liked, but I said, I'm going to be gaming more. I need to get a gaming chair with more head support and all that. I prefer this chair. So I'm not going to tell you that it's 5 stars better than every other chair out there. I'm telling you that I had a chance to buy any chair I wanted. I've got a budget, and I bought this one. So there it is.
Yes, gaming chairs are good for gaming. It's scientifically proven that once you buy a gaming chair, your accuracy improves 200%.
Really?
No. But,
you got to stick with that, though. Improves 200%. Not an actual figure.
Instantly improve your aim.
Well, you know what? That would be an interesting study because I'll bet you your accuracy does improve. It would make sense. It's intuitive. I can't prove it. It's an unscientific hot take from me that your accuracy will improve if you get this chair. I have virtually no facts to back that up. Not even virtually. I have zero facts to back that up.
Who needs facts, man? Nobody needs facts.
Yeah. You need something that makes you feel good. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way we're heading in this society. All right. So as far as the feel of the game, as far as the way the game is heading, you're pretty happy with that. Now, as far as weapons, season in and season out, have you started changing your loadout, your ideal loadout? Do you find that maybe I need to get better with this particular gun, or do I just stick with what I've got?
I kind of. I think every season has had like a boost, or like there's been nerfs and balance changes and stuff. So like every season there's been roughly like kind of a meta shift, I've realized. But not really. Like at the beginning of Apex, everybody ran what was called the R400 combo, which is the R301 and the R99. Everybody ran it. If you didn't run it, you were gonna get slapped basically. And then they buffed the Peacekeeper. And the Peacekeeper, if you didn't have a Peacekeeper, you're gonna get slapped. And then from then, it was basically almost the same. Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, it was like R301, R99, Peacekeeper. And then they completely changed everything this season. The Mastiff got switched with the Peacekeeper. They buffed and nerfed like almost every gun. And so this season was so bizarre. To me, at least. It was so weird seeing Mastiffs and then seeing people hit with a Peacekeeper for like 180, and I was like, what is happening? Nothing is the same anymore. It's weird, but I love it. It is refreshing.
Yeah, and I do have to agree that nothing in the game really happens by accident, not something like that. Yeah, you have your occasional glitch, you have a bug. They usually get on those pretty quickly. But when they make a change like that, it's because they've tested it. They have a hypothesis. They test it out. They beta test it, and they throw it out there. And then they listen to the feedback, and they realize whether or not it's a mistake. Yeah. And I know that so far, Pathfinder's nerf is in place, which means I'm sure people have complained, but not enough. And so they're thinking, you know what? We did the right thing. You know, Edgerly may not like it. He's still whinging about it, but that's how he's going to be. Of course, he's going to defend his character. But as far as the community goes, yeah, all the Pathfinder mains weren't happy about it. But I'll bet you there was some Bloodhound mains, some Crypto mains, some Mirage mains. I know the Mirage mains are happy because there were like 4 of them before this season.
Oh my God,
now, yeah. What's your take on Mirage?
He went from bottom tier. He went from nothing, okay, to incredible.
Yeah.
I made a Mirage video, and it was so fun. I have never had so much fun playing Mirage. Even when I get bamboozled, like I'll be playing, I'm like, oh, there's a Mirage. You know, we're fighting a team, and I get bamboozled. I'm a little salty, but I'm also I also laugh because the way that they implemented his bamboozle to like mimic the character, you can never tell. You literally can never tell if it's a Mirage that's a bamboozle or if it's just a player staring at a wall that's AFK. You don't know.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
Yeah. And I've apparently there is a trick to be able to spot the one real Mirage when he's got that carousel of other Mirages running around. Is that there's a little blue outline, I think. There's a little blue tint to him.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, because I think you can see his, like I don't know what they're called, but like his little rings, like the hollow rings on his body. I think that, and I also know if you have a Bloodhound or a Crypto, I think that'll also ping.
Okay.
Like if you do a scan, but if you don't have that, and you know it's in the heat of the moment, it's so difficult, but it's still super fun.
Yeah. Now, what character do you think needs the nerf or the buff next? I mean, you're probably pretty familiar with them. Who needs to get tweaked?
In my opinion, I would love to see Crypto buff. Crypto and Octane. Because I feel like, personally, if I'm ever fighting an Octane, he's supposed to be a speed character, right?
Right.
But I don't feel like if he uses a stim, I'm not ever like, oh no, he's gone. I'm just going to shoot him and he's going to go down because he moves like 20% faster. And he has a large green glow coming off of him. Yeah. I would really love to see Octane get some love. And Crypto, I feel like he needs, I don't know what it would be, but I don't get the sense that Crypto is a really good tracker, because Bloodhound can run and do a huge wave and aggressively keep going and help their friends, but Crypto's got to stop and use his stuff. And I don't know. I would love to see Crypto be more hacker-ish. Like, maybe he can't get scanned by Bloodhound because he's not supposed to be able to be seen, or something like that. I would love to see something to Crypto. One, because it would make for more interesting plays, but two, I want to see Johnny go ham with Crypto and see what he can do with his new stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, it seems like something that Crypto should be able to do has been given to Revenant. Revenant can shut down your your ability for 10 seconds at least. That now seems like, I
think it's like 20 seconds now.
Is it really? Yeah. That seems like something that Crypto should be able to do, that somehow he hacked your ability and he shut you down. Or, I mean, this is actually, I don't know if I should be giving them ideas, but it feels like Crypto should be able to take your weapon and make it malfunction or something. I mean, just somehow
like that would be
crack,
so cool.
Crack the tech, because this is a world surrounded by tech. He should be able to crack the ambient tech and make your weapon dry fire, or make you accidentally shoot your teammate. I mean, if you wanted something dastardly for Crypto, I mean, the pulse is pretty bad. Let's face it, when you're turtling, the last thing you want to see is that little Crypto sphere come in. You're thinking, all right, let me go find a shield cell because I'm going to need it. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty rough, but I throwing that out there for the devs. How about you disable somebody's weapons for about 5 seconds? Even 5 seconds in a melee is deadly.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. But yeah, I agree. Everything is so based around technology. The respawn beacons, the cards, the weapons, some abilities. So I would. Yeah. I never thought about how Revenant's tactical should kind of be Crypto's.
That really should be Crypto's.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, Revenant could probably do something to you. First of all, Revenant is scary and spooky. So I feel like Revenant should maybe just make you paralyzed for about 5 seconds or so, because you're just scared shitless of him.
It's spooky boy, yes.
Yeah, he just sort of spooks you. He gives you the evil eye. And maybe it's just, I mean, freezing would be too much. Now you're away from keyboard and now you're dead. But at the very least, maybe he affects your aim to where suddenly you're not able to control the spread, no matter what you have on your weapon. Even if you have a choke, maybe if Revenant gives you the old evil eye, suddenly your aim is drastically affected.
Sure, yeah. I hope we get some changes. I would love that. I think. There's a Crypto teaser or Easter egg right now in Kings Canyon. I don't know. Have you heard about it?
We were trying to find it last night and couldn't, and I'm sure I'll come across it at some point.
Yeah, it's over by Repulsor, like on the edge of the map.
Okay.
It's where the banners usually are, but instead of having the characters, it's like a Crypto symbol with like a binary code. And usually when this stuff happens, that's usually where the town takeover is going to be, like the Bloodhound.
Yeah, so there's going to be a Crypto town takeover, is what I'm hearing.
I'm hoping that Crypto is going to get some love, and we're going to see some changes to Crypto. I think that would be a perfect timing.
Yeah, I thought about this last night. I sometimes I get on at night and I just start my own little party and I just play anonymously and I don't stream it or anything. So I'm playing last night and I'm checking the beacon because I always take Pathfinder.
Right.
And I came up with a thought that I hesitate to even share because they've already nerfed them. But I thought, if you really wanted to mess with Pathfinder, have one beacon per map, per match, electrocute him. Just be a malfunctioning beacon where he's trying to read for where the ring is going to be next, and it just shocks the hell out of him. And it's it'd be something Crypto could do.
Yeah, yes, that could be another Crypto ability. If instead of Crypto accessing a beacon, he can hack the beacon, and when Pathfinder goes to it, Pathfinder.
He could hack.
Where Pathfinder is.
Yeah, because I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be doing this. I am giving them ways to screw my character over and buff Crypto even. Yeah, not a good idea. Okay, somebody asked here, who in your opinion is the most balanced character that doesn't really need anything, doesn't need a nerf, doesn't need a buff? They're fine as they are.
Who's the most balanced? I think
Wraith seems to be pretty popular regardless. So maybe they are. Maybe Wraith she's pretty balanced.
I guess so. I haven't played Wraith too much, but from what I've seen over the season, she hasn't got too much. She had a little tweak with her like ability and like the timing.
Yeah.
Not a few things, but relatively, I mean, she stayed the same. So she's a top pick for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got a lot of. Yeah, she's got a lot of. I mean, her movement is incredible because she can go invisible. I mean, relatively invisible, and that portal is amazing for what you're able to do for your party. You know, so it also is kind of selfless because you kind of Wraith doesn't really get anything out of the portal because Wraith just sets one and then runs somewhere and sets it again. It's for the rest of the party.
Yeah.
So that I would be interested to see what personality types gravitate towards each character. Who is your average Gibraltar player, and who is your average Revenant, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I would love to see some type of. I wonder how they would be able to do a statistic. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see, like, I don't know if they're able. I'm sure they're able to track it, but I would love to see, maybe like, for the past year or something, or maybe on the next like anniversary of Apex, if they could have a statistic to show how many times people have been finished by a certain character, or how many times how many times your specific account that you knocked a certain character were finished by the certain character. That would be really fun to see.
Yeah. Somebody's Coyote Killer here is saying if they make Wraith's tactical quicker, then she'd be balanced because it takes like 1 second to phase, which is annoying at times. So I haven't taken Wraith enough to have an opinion on her tactical, except that it's pretty cool, but you can still kind of make out where she's going, but it's hard. It's not
quick.
Yeah, exactly. I always thought that Caustic was an interesting character to use, especially in enclosed spaces, but Caustic is able to do something that is pretty dastardly, and he leaves things behind. And so that even when he's not there, he's doing residual damage. It's like setting a frag, and it goes off when you want it to go off.
Yeah. Yesterday I was playing with Johnny and the Razor Hail, and we were. I think I want to say it was the last one, or either it was me and somebody else that were left, and I had a sliver of health. I barely made it with the skin of my teeth. And we're running through a cave, and of course there's a Cosmic Trap behind a rock that goes off. It is the scariest sound in Apex you will ever hear. Yeah, is when you think you're safe and you hear a Caustic Trap go off.
Yeah, and I don't know if they buffed that gas or not, but I was in a match, which we won mainly because one of the subs I was playing with just went world killer, had 13 kills and almost 3,000 damage. It was just amazing. I just sat back and went,
what a chance.
Yeah, they don't need me, And I was dead anyway at that point. I was just watching from my death box, but that gas went off. The caustic gas went off, and I said, this stuff is too powerful. Because they had set it in every room of the building, and I couldn't get away, and it was just chopping me down.
Yeah, they also buffed it recently.
Yeah.
They did, because now it used to be, people thought, Caustic, I guess, people thought he was relatively balanced because he could smoke out people, but your teammates would be affected. But now your teammates are no longer affected. They can just run through smoke without being slowed down, and so your party is that much more powerful. Caustic is super good now.
Yeah, it's a little much. I mean, well, that is the actual interesting thing about a game that is it's a live game. They're constantly making it and remaking it, and so viewer and player feedback is vital. And so just by virtue of us having this conversation, putting it out into the ether and other people listening and maybe echoing it somewhere else, it's going to have a ripple effect, I would hope. And who knows? Who knows what the season is going to bring?
We'll see.
Yeah. Have you been doing Loba's Quest since the beginning of it?
I have been doing Loba's Quest, and it has been super rewarding. I'm very surprised. I knew it would be fun, and I knew the quest would be fun, but I didn't know how much I would love the lore. Like it's really fun to play the battle royale, but it is something about being able to watch the story unfold live through the season has been really cool.
Yeah. Now, this is something that, I was aware that they were going to do it, but I was excited because, yes, it's a battle royale game. And when you get in, every game is going to be different because of the human variable. And because they're matches. They're games. They're like games on a schedule. But the one thing that I thought, since they had built this world out so much and added so much depth to it, would be a really cool player versus environment facet of the game. Now, I don't know enough about the games that are out there, but are there games out there that have a substantial battle royale facet and a substantial player versus environment angle to it, or are most games one or the other?
Not that I know. The only thing that I've heard of, I know that Fortnite added bots in their matches, and it was a couple months ago. It'll be a battle royale match, but they'll have actual AI that are in the matches as well.
Okay.
That look like regular characters. That's the only thing that I can think of. But I don't know that I don't know that they have what Apex is doing, which is having a storyline that you actively interact with through quests, and you capture things. So
yeah,
I hope that Apex and Respawn builds on this, because it seems that everybody's enjoying it.
Yeah,
so they have to. I'm sure they're going to be continuing this next season, and I hope and I pray that they're going to have voice acting next time.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Pardon the pun. Pun intended. Well, I actually talked to one of the writers, Tom Cassiello, who I had on a few weeks ago, and he addressed that. He said that we wanted to put you guys into the lore. We wanted you guys voicing this, but we didn't have time. Yeah. So it really was a time crunch issue, and that going forward, I think they would like to do it. I cannot guarantee that it's going to happen, but the intent is certainly there. And going back, I remember, Captain Diablo on the chat here says that Hunt Showdown has both player versus environment and PvP. So let's see. Brody Abroad Game says the Cycle is a battle royale that is PvPvE. That would be interesting. Yeah, I remember playing, this is going way back, this is for a lot of you crazy kids, you were not even alive, but I played GoldenEye on, I believe it was Nintendo. I think it was N64.
N64, yep.
Yeah, I played GoldenEye around 03. I played it a lot. I still had roommates. I was in my 30s. I lived with one of my best friends and my brother. And I was still transitioning from stand-up to voiceover, so I was soon to have my own place. But yeah, it's kind of sad when you think about it. But we would play GoldenEye. Now, the thing about GoldenEye is that you can play it as one person, PvE. You do the missions, and it's really fun. But we had the best time playing the sniper. There was a sniper matchup, so you just needed 3 or 4 guys, and we would play, and it was a blast. And I thought every game should do this. They should have both so that you can create this. Now, of course, that was all entirely local. It was all on the same console. Yeah. And pretty soon people started playing Doom, and they had these and they had Halo parties, and they had these LAN parties, and it built out. Yeah. So I think that if Apex becomes a game that gives you I guess what they're doing with the lore is an ongoing PvE. It can change every single season. You can have a PvE and have the PvP. I would think, I don't know what else they could do to make that game realize its potential more than that.
I've been asking, or I haven't been asking about it, but I've been talking about it to friends and other creators on YouTube, and I would love to see a type of custom matchmaking in Apex. I would love to be able to go in a match with just me and a friend, maybe and not just like firing range, but I'm talking about, I don't know if the servers could handle using the whole map, but maybe little custom little match lobbies of maybe community made maps, or something the devs make that is, very small, maybe the size of old Skull Town or something, that you get put into, and you can do the first to 3. You get a random weapon and you just fight.
Right.
So something fun like that. I would love to have like an area you can just mess around with. You know?
Yeah, I think as they're saying on the chat, basically you just call it local multiplayer. So
Yeah.
yeah, like because with GoldenEye, there were different maps according to the levels
Yeah.
in the game you would play, and you would just choose one. And
Yeah.
we always chose one particular one because I think it was somewhere in the snow. And it was some sort of fortress because you had outdoor geography, you had indoor places,
Yep. Yep.
and we really enjoyed that variety. And yeah, I don't know what kind of server resources they would need to make that happen. And of course, this is always you're trying to make the game as good as it possibly can be,
Yeah.
but there are always limitations, especially in
Yeah.
a
Of
game
course.
like this that is free to play, that
Yeah. Yeah.
exists.
People always
Yeah,
forget that it's a free. People always ask so much stuff from the devs, you know. But
yeah,
it is a free to play game. Of course, they're making money from transactions and battle
hmm
pass things, but it's not like they sold it for you for $60. It is a free to play game.
right,
There are millions of people who've probably never bought anything from it who just jump on and play with their friends,
yeah,
and it's still incredible to see how well the game has done for a free
hmm
to play game. It is massive.
yeah. And free to play games are not new; they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But usually, I would think that they would be something that perhaps a gaming company would put out there to test something. So, okay, people really like this. Now we're going to put into a game that we charge for. And I find that there's an analogy to free-to-play games that have microtransactions that you can find in music that started years ago. I remember Radiohead was one of the first bands to ever say, we're not going to do big label stuff anymore. We're going to make our own record and we're going to put it on the internet and pay what you want for it.
Right.
So if you want to listen to it for free, fine, listen to it for free. If you want to pay whatever amount you want. And they just relied on their fans to support it, and it worked out. And so now you see people doing this more and more. And now you have entire platforms that exist solely for the purposes of putting out content, and people can pay for it or not. Like YouTube, they can donate.
Yeah.
That you have, let's see, you have Patreon, where people start
Yes.
Patreon pages.
Yes, Patreon it's not an entirely new concept, but it is new to the scene. I haven't made a Patreon yet because I luckily haven't really needed to, but I
Yeah.
have been thinking about it. It would
I've done them
definitely
before.
help.
Yeah. My brother, Dave, Pappy Dave is his gamer tag. He and I used to do Patreon a little bit. We had actually come over from Kickstarter. We used that quite a bit. We used it to, the first thing we did was we made playing cards. We found out that the bicycle playing cards that everybody seems to have a deck of around their house,
Right.
that's the U.S. Playing Card Company. And they will make cards for you if you pay them enough, because the minimum order is like 2,500 decks of cards. So if you can pay for it, they'll do whatever design you want as long as it fits within their molds, their basic their basic. They have a template that you have to follow. So we thought, okay, we noticed on Kickstarter that people were designing their own decks of cards and they were raising money on Kickstarter. And once you had your goal, they'd say, okay, the decks are going to be made. We'll mail them out to you. They had all these extras. So we started doing that. And the way you would make money on Kickstarter is you would be able to make enough to make the product and ship it to everyone. And if you priced it properly, you would have enough left over to sell in the marketplace, and then you would make your profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a chance for people who had an idea who couldn't necessarily sell it to a company to just sell it to the world. And now we see major companies doing this, and like Respawn, which is basically owned by EA, decided we're going to put a lot of time and money into making a game, and people will either play it or not play it. And if they play it and like it, then they'll choose to spend however much money they want to spend. And if they don't want to spend anything, they can keep playing it.
Yeah. It's a weird concept to think about.
Yeah.
But it's obviously worked out. If you do something good enough, you'll end up making money from it. I mean, they've done such an incredible job that I think I don't remember what it's called, but I read about it. I want to say it was in a Reddit post that was concerning, like, reminding people it's a free to play game. That since it's a free to play game, and if you like it enough, some people almost feel guilty that they haven't paid anything for it, so they're
Yeah.
gonna want to shell out the $10 for the pass, or buy a gun or something.
Right. And that's kind of the way I felt. At first, I used to joke about it, and I used to say, "Hey, do you ever spend any money on the game?" And I used to say, "No, I don't pay Apex. Apex pays me." Because I'm the voice of Pathfinder. And I thought, that's kind of a dick thing to say, really. And so what I decided was, they're paying me, so I should take some of that money and put it into the game. And so I buy the battle pass, I buy the skin here and there, and I thought, you know what? I actually should be a model of how people should play this game. They should enjoy it as much as they can.
Sure.
And then whenever they can, they should buy something because it keeps the game going. And at first I thought, I want to be a model of how you can enjoy the game at its basic level. Because I haven't bought anything, I'm playing it with all the normal skins. Right. And I'm just having a good time. See how much fun you can have playing this game. But I did realize that, just like with my stream and with my cameo videos I make for people, I did 2 of them earlier today. If nobody spends any money, I can keep doing this stuff, but it's going to occupy less and less time on my calendar because I need to devote time to things that generate revenue for the household. And so people can watch my stream for free, or they can donate, or they can sub, or they can use my cameo videos and make a video. So it's voluntary. It's not a subscription thing unless you want to subscribe. Otherwise, it's still all there for you. So...
Speaking of the way like Apex has done stuff, I am also really excited about how they have a whole new, what is it, like a staff, a whole new. I don't remember. Is it in Canada or is it in the U.S.?
I believe they opened an office in Vancouver.
Yeah, a whole new dedicated to Apex.
Yeah,
that is exciting.
Yes, and I don't know how that's going to, I do not believe they're going to suddenly fly us up to Vancouver to record the new sessions, especially not now. But at some point, I really would love to see what they've got going on up there, because the fact that they've opened that up means that it's going well. And so it is a good sign that they're doing something like this.
I would love to be able to go visit one of these offices. That would be so cool.
Well, I've gotten to go to the ones they have here in Los Angeles, and it's fun. I mean, it's kind of what you expect an office like that to look like. They've got a few props from the game. They've got bins there.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Yeah, they have bins that look pretty lifelike. And they are pretty cool. And they have a really cool break room. It's the kind of place where you would want to work because it's chill.
Yeah.
So I like that. Chill people coming up with a fun game, and they work hard. There's no doubt about it. So.
Oh yeah, they put out season 5 from home. They're working from home, and they were able to do this. That's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think what we can do is take a few questions off the chat too, because I'm sure there are some people that might have some questions. Like, what I would like to see, how many people on the chat are content creators themselves who are still trying to get over the hump and learn how to monetize, and how many people are just people who find that they watch content creators more than they watch, say, actual TV shows and movies, because you've only got so many hours in the day. So that would be I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, there also has been a pretty big influx in the past, I would say even 5 years. Like when Netflix started blowing up, you went from everybody had cable to I legitimately only know one person who has cable, and that's my dad.
Really? Well, now you know two.
Okay, now I know two people who have cable. Everyone else I know, they have Amazon Prime, Netflix, and they can go on the internet and just look up the weather. They don't need to look the Weather Channel.
I have to admit, if we did not have kids, I don't know if I would have cable. We have everything that our kids might want to watch, just because we don't want to remove anything, because we don't want to hear later on, that was the show I liked. No, I can't find it on any of the streams. I'm sorry. So we just kind of have everything. But I would think that about the only reason I keep the TV is because there are still channels I like to watch. I just like to grab the remote and flip around and see what's going on. But I have a feeling that I could find everything online if I really wanted to.
Yeah, I think there's some proprietary stuff, just like Nintendo has, stuff they make, and Sony has stuff they make. There's probably, I'm sure, certain channels that are only able to be broadcast, and you can only probably get it on cable or something. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I'm sure you can find almost anything you need without having to have cable.
I know, and it just seems weird to me. But one of these days, I will just say, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. Well, yeah. Here's one from Coyote Killer. You're a content creator on Twitch. Well, I'm a content creator or a Twitch streamer. Don't know if that's under that. Well, if you're a Twitch streamer, you're a content creator, because Twitch also keeps your video on demand. I know it's different for affiliate and partner, but if you're an affiliate, it keeps it for 2 weeks. I think if you're a partner, it keeps it for 30 days. Don't quote me on that. But yes, if you're up streaming, you are creating content. It is one kind of content. Now, if you're taking that stream footage and then you're delivering it to another platform, then that is definitely content creation. And then if you're, the next tier of that is when you're taking that footage and you're editing it for a different effect, and you're telling a story with it, and you're adding graphics and sound effects and things like that.
Yeah.
Full on 100% content creator.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's just not a stigma, but I think a lot of people get discouraged because I've seen people on YouTube who talk about like, oh, you're not a content creator because you don't get paid. But I mean, if you're doing this for a hobby and you're having fun, you're creating content. Just because you're not making money doesn't mean anything,
Yeah, absolutely. I met people who would call themselves actors, and I'd say, okay, what have you been in? Well, I haven't really been anything that you've seen, but I do plays regularly. I go to classes. I say, okay, that's an actor. Yeah. And then there are the people who did a show, I don't know how many years ago, and they don't go to class, and they don't study, and they don't audition. They're still calling themselves an actor. Look, I don't call myself a comic professionally anymore because I don't do it professionally, but I did it for 20 years. And I was regularly on stage somewhere for roughly 20 years. And the regularity would diminish over time because I had other things to do. Yeah, but I don't call myself a comedian anymore. I think like one because that's just how I am. Yeah. But no, if you're doing it regularly, yes, call yourself that. Now, don't call yourself a professional that if you're not being paid yet. Mm-hmm. But that's a distinction. So, yeah, Hustler here. You make content just for fun, yeah. It doesn't matter if it's for fun or for money. If you're doing it regularly, that's what you're doing. Yeah, Hustler says they need to nerf Gibraltar.
Gibby nerf. Oh, I would love to see a Gibby nerf, actually. I think his gun shield is one of the most annoying things that I ever have to go against.
It is pretty annoying. The thing is like a trash can lid, and it just covers most of them.
How I'll break his shield, and I'm like, great, his shield's broken, he's weak, I'm going for it, and by the time I get to him, his gun is back up, and he's covering his body again, and I sink another 100. I can't tell you how many times I have been bamboozled more than Gibby that I have by Mirage, his gun shield.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's got a devastating airstrike that he can call in. I mean, that's pretty badass. I don't know what else he needs as far as firepower. He doesn't need anymore.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe we could smooth down some of those rough edges. DJ Vape says, I think I spend quite a lot of time watching content creators like Retro and yourself. Well, we thank you for that, DJ Vape, for sure.
Thankies.
Yes. Let's see. Sniper Toaster wants to know, what map do you prefer? And which is a good question because before Season 5, I was nostalgic for Kings Canyon, but I liked World's Edge because there was so much to it. But now, Kings Canyon's amazing.
Yeah, I think I definitely prefer Kings Canyon, but the only reason I prefer Kings Canyon is because it is incredibly easy to third-party people. And for me, getting clips and getting dumb videos, I don't want to have to run around World's Edge for 10 minutes to find a single team and then get wiped out. I want to be able to go from place to place to place really quick off balloons, within 10 minutes and trying to get as much stuff as I can.
So the movement you think is easier on Kings Canyon because, I mean, they're roughly the same size, I would think.
I think World's Edge is almost twice the size of Kings Canyon.
Is it?
Yes, it is
Wow.
very big.
Okay. I guess it feels like they're the same size, but
I know. Well, I think a reason is because they added in Kings Canyon this season. Before there was a problem because there were so few POIs, like places of interest,
yeah.
and so little loot that you could go through a place and come up with nothing and then run forever. But this season they added so much stuff that it feels bigger, and there's places to go, which is really good, and I really like it.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. One of the reasons why I like Kings Canyon is because there's so much to discover, and there is so many chances for loot. There's a corner of the map where if you drop there, you'll spend half of the actual match just going through every bin and building. I can't remember the name of the area, but I think it's where the crypto Easter egg is now. So that's whatever the area is called. I can't remember.
Oh, by Repulsor, maybe, I think.
I think it might be over there, yeah. So there's just so much. Of course, a lot of people go there, so there's action.
Yeah.
So for pure action, I got to say, yeah, Kings Canyon kind of has it right now. I don't know if they're going to come up with a third map. Well, I do know, but I do know, but I'm not allowed to say, so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, NDAs or something, aren't they? Yeah. Let's see. Hood's Game Space is saying Worlds is so much bigger, but the ring isn't equal to the size of the map, so the ring is more dangerous. So World's Edge, that is interesting. So the ring being unequal to the size of the map makes it more dangerous, you believe? I would think that it'd be, well, yeah, I mean, look, there's nothing you can do about the ring. Everyone's in it.
Yeah.
And when it comes for you, it comes for you. So I have not noticed that I guess I would have thought they would make the ring bigger if the map's bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they have. I feel like World's Edge ring is bigger because the map is a little bigger, so you're going to have a little more, I guess, wiggle room.
Yeah.
But I think it is also a little more forgiving because there's been a lot of times in Kings Canyon where it's only like the second ring, but it is the way that Kings Canyon is with all the hills and caves and all that stuff.
Right.
It's so easy to get trapped.
Yeah.
Than I feel like it is in World's Edge.
Yeah. Well, the ring is definitely not going anywhere. I imagine about the only thing they'll do with the ring is they might change the pace of the ring. They might make it deadlier or less deadly for each round.
Yeah.
But
I would love to see it more deadly.
You would? Oh, to sort of speed up the map or speed up the gameplay?
I would. So, did you play when there was I think it was called the Elite mode? Did you play at the time?
When did that happen?
I want to say it was in season 2.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
I probably did, yes.
It was a game mode where you had to reach top 5, and if you reach top 5, you had like a little badge, and it would go up a number.
Okay.
That's basically what it was. It was like pre-ranked.
All right.
And what they did for that is they made the ring. I think the ring only had like 4 tiers.
Okay.
Or three tiers, and even the first ring it did like 30 damage per tick.
All right.
And it closed in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
And the games only lasted like 13 minutes, 10 minutes. It was so quick, and it was one of my favorite game modes. I would love to see an LTM where maybe the ring is constantly closing, and it'll fully close in like 8 minutes, and the damage is like 50 tick or something.
Wow. That's an interesting distinction to make too, because there are some players like, I don't mind if the game takes a while because I am not as good at 1v1. I don't trust my skill. So I have to get by through strategy, through movement, through making sure that I have every advantage possible if I'm going to choose to get into it.
Right.
So I don't mind the pace because it works to my advantage. Somebody might get frustrated or impatient and make a mistake, and it might benefit me. Whereas the players that are just wreckers, just the predators, I'm sure they want a ring that is constantly shrinking. It's like, bring them to me because I know what to do.
Be fun. I would really enjoy it's kind of like how some games have like a team deathmatch mode or something where you can just jump in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes and have a quick game. I would love Because I know when I jump on a game with my friends, either I'm gonna die on drop and it's gonna be 2 minute reset, or I'm
Yeah.
gonna be surviving for a good 20 minutes. So it would be really really cool to see.
Well, there's a thing that I don't even know if it exists anymore, but it was very popular in the 70s called the Demolition Derby. And basically, you just got a bunch of cars, they're just old, banged up cars, and you just got a bunch of drivers, and it was in one enclosed, huge, like mud pit. And they just banged into each other and just beat the shit out of each other. And the last car running basically won.
Yeah, my grandfather used to do that actually.
Yeah, it was a dangerous job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had pictures and home videos, and
Yeah.
I never got to go to one when I was a kid, but I would love it.
It's and I think if they had a Demolition Derby version of Apex, right now we have duos, we have trios, we have Loba's Quest, Demolition Derby, one area of the map, and everybody just gets. You don't even parachute in; you just get let out like a bull at a rodeo. You just get let out.
Yeah,
and
I remember talking to a friend, Dice Boy. He's another creator. We would love to see, like a game mode where there's like a big POI. So, what is it called? Capital City in World's Edge, where the ring is already around it, and there's like 10 times as regular loot. But everybody has to go right there, right into there. Everybody jumps off, goes in, and the ring starts closing.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I think the huge portal in Wraith's during Wraith's event, that huge portal. That's basically what a Demolition Derby is, because everybody goes in, and you get shot into this room with weapons everywhere, and you just start scrapping.
When that event first came out, and I remember making the video on it, no joke, the whole lobby would go into it. There were some times where the ship would spawn and the portal would be like 100 feet in front of you, and you just knew you could watch all the numbers go out of the ship from 60 teams to 0, and everybody would go in. It was the most fun I had there in a long time.
I think that would be a really interesting limited time event to see if people took to it, because you could do so much. You could just make it a battle arena, just Thunderdome, which they kind of had,
Yes. What a missed opportunity. I would have loved it.
Well, they can only do so much at a time. So,
Maybe one day. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll take one or two more questions and comments, and then we'll let Retro-Spect get back to his editing. 30 hours in a week of editing?
That's basically what it is, yeah. It's super fun. It is.
That's a full-time job.
It is.
Because you got to do the playing, too.
Yeah, yeah. Don't even get me started. Sometimes when I have a dumb idea where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do. So my most recent video, I'm doing it's called Wingman.exe, but I don't like it personally when my videos are. I don't want my videos ever be boring. I want something to be like, that was really unique. So I told myself this video, okay, I'm only gonna try and get kills, but no scopes only. So I cannot scope in with the Wingman. All my kills and everything, I want to be crazy, jumping off buildings, hitting people, not aiming. Which is random, because when you shoot, when you're not aiming, the bullet goes randomly.
Yeah.
So it has taken me a good 2 weeks to get these clips, and I'm hoping it's gonna be, worth it. It's been fun though.
Well, we'll look forward to it. All right, let's see. Hamza Rewinds asks, when or if will you stop making content altogether? Well, I'll let you field that one first.
I hope not anytime soon. Currently, I am enrolled, like, technically in law school.
Okay.
I'm in my first year, and I really enjoy the law. And
okay.
I want to be a civil public defender. I don't think there's enough people out there helping protect people's rights, and
well, especially now. Yeah.
Yes, and I would love to be able to really help people. But with COVID-19 and the way things are being taught, it's almost like you're throwing money at a screen, because I'm not in a classroom talking to professors. It's just a lecture with reading. So I'm currently taking a break and doing this full time, and I'm hoping once everything is normal again, I can go back and finish my degree and get my Juris Doctor. But if not, I'm here for the ride, and I'm seriously loving every day of it.
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong. If you pass the bar, whether you have a law degree or not, you can practice law, correct? Or do you have to have a degree?
I believe and I could be, don't quote me because I could be wrong, but I believe in California, and maybe another state, but I know in California you can practice under a certified bar attorney.
Okay.
For 3 years, and then you can go take the bar. But I'm pretty sure everywhere else here, you have to have a law degree to be certified to take the bar.
Okay, gotcha. Because I figured, if somebody was just smart enough, if they studied on their own and they could pass the bar, then they are capable of adequately representing a client. So, but I don't make the laws. So, that's one thing that people are realizing about education is that if you're not going to be in the class with a one-on-one with a teacher and you're learning remotely, you still need someone guiding you. But with the internet being what it is, a person who is an autodidact can really give themselves a first-class education.
Oh yeah,
without paying tuition.
Oh yeah, there's definitely people that are that are thriving right now, and there are definitely people who are having the worst time learning. It's not for everyone.
Some people need teachers. Some people just need to be turned loose on the world, and they know what to do. Yeah. So let's see if there's anyone that has any other comments or questions. Hey, Mr. Jeff. Hello from Costa Rica. Hola, señor. Tú estás más cerca de Retro-Spect que yo, pero bueno. Hola. Anyway,
Sí, bienvenidos, ¿qué tal?
Yeah. I'm learning. One day, maybe I'll speak a little bit better, but geez, I don't know. I like to say algún día hablaré perfecto, pero no hoy.
Yes. So it's all about that practice.
Yeah. What I noticed about Orlando was Florida has Cubans and Puerto Ricans more than any other demographic as far as Hispanic goes. And there seem to be more Puerto Ricans in Orlando and more Cubans in Miami. I don't know if that's still true, if they've all just moved all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's relatively true. I do know that most, at least North Florida, has mainly Mexican. It's like it goes from like Mexicans to Puerto Ricans and then Cubans.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of Hispanics.
What the hell are Mexicans doing going to North Florida for? They just figured...
I don't know. My dad never told me. I'm a first generation Mexican American, and he never told me why he's here. It was just like, I came here for work, and I'm in Florida. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, because I could imagine, obviously California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, those make sense. Even Louisiana, I figure, all right, if you're coming up that way. But I guess he just figured, no, I'm just going to go straight across the Gulf and hit Florida and Miami. Fuck that.
Yeah,
too much.
I'm going to go to good old Florida. I don't know why you would ever come here. It is hot.
It's very humid.
Last Christmas, it was 96 degrees. We had the AC on, and it felt like a sauna outside. It was terrible.
Yeah, and there's no part of Florida you can go for it to just be cold in December. It's always cold here in December. There's no mountains in Florida. It's all sea level, pretty much.
One day, I hope to leave this barren wasteland and go somewhere with real seasons. I would love it.
Well, don't come to L.A. We don't have seasons. We have spring and we have summer and about 2 weeks of fall. That's about it. So, all right. Well, everybody, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. And I want to say thanks to Retro-Spect. Now, how can everybody find you? I know that if you look up Retro-Spect on YouTube, but if you want to go ahead and throw out your socials, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you just put it in Retro-Spect. You don't have to put the hyphen. You can probably just put in retro. I'll come up. If you like dumb Apex videos that are high quality edited, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
I also do Twitch.
Okay.
I'm Retro-Spect on Twitch as well. So if you guys want to see me record my videos live, I also do that here. That's mainly. I do have a Twitter, but not super active. But yeah, YouTube and Twitch. You can find me on there for some dumb gaming videos if you're into that.
Well, we're all about that. Everybody, thanks again to Retro-Spect. Go check out his Twitch stream. Go check out his social media. And go check out his YouTube. Fun videos. And my God, he spends 30 hours a week working on them. The least you could do is go.